there's a certain number of things that clients will say, myths that you hear fairly frequently that aren't actually true. Things that people hear from other people, things that people hear on television, but they're just not things that apply to the law or things that are actually true. So I want to just talk about a few of those things that I hear fairly frequently, and I've talked with other criminal defense attorneys. We hear the same kind of myths. One thing is that I hear from my clients is that if you talk to a cop and you ask a cop, "Are you a cop?" they have to say yes. That's a myth. A cop never has to tell you that they're a cop. I don't know where this myth came from. I don't know who made it up. But if you think about it, if every police officer had to tell you they were a police officer when they were undercover, there would be no undercover operations ever, because all you'd have to do is ask them, "Are you a cop?" and they'd say yes. So if you ask somebody if they're a cop, maybe you're doing something wrong to begin with. You want to think twice about that. Whether they say yes or no, that doesn't mean that they're a cop or not. Cops are allowed to lie to you. For many people, that's hard to believe, but yes, cops are allowed to lie to you as part of their job. Another myth that I hear many times from criminal clients is, "They didn't read me my rights. Doesn't that mean my case gets thrown out?" No. When your rights are your Miranda rights. Those apply after you're arrested. If the police don't read you your rights and they ask you questions, the answers to those questions can be thrown out of court. But just because the police don't read you your rights doesn't mean your case gets thrown out of court. Your case can be based on many things that happened before you were even arrested. Or the police may not ask you any questions at all. In that case, they don't have to read you your rights. Many people watch TV. They know about their Miranda rights. They know they have rights, and you do have rights. But simply because the police don't read you your rights doesn't mean your case automatically gets thrown out. And that's something I very frequently hear from clients, and it's a frequent criminal defense myth. Another myth that I frequently hear from clients is that if there's some kind of minor error, minor mistake on a police officer's report, that means that their case gets dismissed. So if a police officer says, "My car was blue, but the car was really green," or the police officer said, "I was on 3rd Street, but I was really on 4th Street," those can be mistakes that we can use to show the police officer maybe was careless. But very few mistakes result in your entire case getting dismissed. In order for a mistake to result in your entire case getting dismissed, what it typically has to do is go to the heart of the case, or to go to whether the police can prove whether you did it or not. So typically your case won't get dismissed just for a minor mistake in the police officer's report. Another myth that I frequently hear criminal defense clients saying is that if I just tell the cops what happened, if I just let them know, if I just speak to the police, that will help me out. Or I talked to the police officer and he told me if I just told him what happened, he would let me go. He would let me go free, and that would be the end of it. That's a myth. The police are there to arrest you for a crime. They're looking for evidence of a crime, and they're allowed to lie to get evidence for that crime. In almost every situation, a criminal defense client or somebody who is being accused or suspected of a crime is in a better position if they simply say nothing to the police, because the police will use anything that you say that's incriminating against you, despite what promises they make. So it's a myth to believe a police officer when he says, if you just confess or if you just tell the truth, everything will be all right. I've had many clients who have confessed, given incriminating statements, and then are facing prosecution despite what a police officer said. One more myth that I frequently hear clients say, and this is in a number of different cases, is basically I walked away from it, therefore it's over, therefore I'm free. In a DUI case, they can't find me guilty of a DUI if I was out of the car when the police officer showed up. In a drug case, I've heard clients say, if the drugs were on the ground, they can't find me guilty. There's no hard and fast rule that says you can never be found guilty in those types of circumstances, simply because something wasn't in your personal possession or because you left a vehicle. The police can put the evidence together to show that at one point you were driving a car, or at one point you had the evidence in your possession. And that doesn't mean automatically they can't go ahead with those charges.